Hey, this is going to be Wednesday, September 24th. For our poor kid that's at home, I'm hoping our video's not as long as previous the one that you had to watch, but we'll see what happens. Should be somewhat entertaining though, because we're going to be doing kind of an activity here in a little bit, so it should be somewhat interesting. You'll need to make entry in your notebooky thing because we're going to do a learning thing with that. No one in here because the kid already. Oh, Audrey. I'm sorry. Whatever kid is absent right now who's at home, when you come back, you're going to need to go into IXL and we have a little quiz thing for you to do that you missed on Monday, and we're going to do it today, but you're not here with us again. For you guys, the next time you're going to be in my room is going to be the quiz coming up this Friday. For quiz, it is almost entirely around the story Priscilla. The other bad news is, this is a slightly tougher quiz. As you guys keep doing better and getting smarter, I keep having to raise the level of the questions. So I'm just letting you know, since most of you did really well on quiz last week, this week the question toughness has been bumped up a little bit, where I'm going to try and make you do thinky things. So I'm just trying to let you know, be prepared for it. Again, to help you, I have video with my wonderful art.
Oh my.
I also have review guide with all of the questions on there to help you out. I would highly recommend you take a look at them. I'm going to even try to build in time on Friday after we read the Boy World story to give you a chance to sort of go over the questions and talk to another person to try to get your brain ready for it before we get to quiz, because quiz is again all on you and stuff like that. We're good to go on that. Quiz from last week, you guys did well. Like across the board, that's why I'm going to have to increase it and make it a little bit tougher. I go through at the end of each quiz and I check to see if there are questions you guys struggled on, and any questions where we had like 70% or less of the kids get it right, those are the questions I cover with you. We had 2 of the 15 questions. All of the other questions, you guys either all got correct or almost all got correct. There was only 2 questions that we had a bit of a struggle on. So I'm going to show you those 2 answers and that's it.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, I don't think we had anyone in here get under a 21 on the quiz, so you can't redo it because you already got the highest grade. Here's the first question. All the way to number 9. The first 8 questions you guys did fine on, so that's why I have to make it tougher. And it said, from the story, Charles, which of these characters is the least important to the story? Which of these does the least, or, and here's where I tried to help you, does not exist at all in the story? Which of the characters does not exist? The one that was in the title of the story, Charles. That's the kid that doesn't exist. The one that we keep hearing about doing all these bad things, because that kid is actually just Larry.
Larry.
Then 15, the last one, which I thought was interesting that kids missed on here too, especially because I put the answer in the question. What is it we have to say? Yeah, I even put it right there in the question to try to help you out. I took either learned, anything along those lines to help you out. Those were the only 2 questions. I had a bunch of kids who either put lesson or put theme or put a few other random things in there, and so I couldn't really help you out from there. Everything else, you guys did well on. No other questions as far as that. I feel the same way. All right. So then, I did have kids ask, not here, but in my other class, but I'll tell you guys the same information. I was telling kids, most of the grades in my class come from your quiz and not from the homework, which is why I want you to do well on my quizzes. It's why I give you a version of me reading the story to you. It's why I also give you guys the questions ahead of time to help you out. And I asked my classes, is there anything I can do to help you do better on the quiz? And I had a kid say, give us all the answers. And the thing is, I do. That's literally what I just put at the end of each week. Like, legit, for my quizzes, if you don't want to take it, when it comes to Friday, you could just submit a blank quiz. And then wait till the next week when I go over the answers that kids struggle on, and then you can turn that in and get a C-. The problem is, I only cover the questions that kids struggled on. It's like some quizzes, it's going to be like 10, 12 questions. This past week, it was 2 questions. And so like, I'm happy to give you the answers and you can resubmit it. It's just, if you want to get an A or a B, you have to do it the first time. wait until you were eating? That was awful of me. Okay, I'll move on then. And then I'll wait till you take your next bite and I'll call on you again. And then,
Okay, I'm done now.
okay.
So you said you want us to do well, but then why are you making them harder this week?
Solid. I want you to be smart and do well. I can give you a quiz that just says what's your name, and I'd only have like 2 kids fail it. But that's not really much of a challenge. I also want you to be good humans and have to think. So I want you to think and do well, as opposed to the kids that just melt down and drool on themselves and fall out of their chairs. I have hope. I know, it's this teaching thing I do. It's weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird, I believe we only have a handful of kids left. So we're going to get through about half of those remaining kids. Home child, you're just going to have to use your imagination. I'm not going to put them on screen.
Pause the video, Mr.
Hi. So you just missed the fact that we have now finished everyone.
Yeah.
All of them were super excited and full of emotion. It was great. And we now have second round where you have to do it in 10 seconds or less, but it's optional. So if you happen to go mute over the weekend, you can not volunteer. And then many kids in this room who yap all the time and demonstrate how non-mute they are, they can volunteer. To you guys. So now your notebooky thing. Let's go back to time to do learning stuff. Hi.
Wait, actually, never mind.
Done. All right. So we have entry, and we're going to turn to page 6. So I don't have to sass a kid about how page 6 works.
Wait, it's page 6. Yes.
Not the one that comes after it. Well, I even put page 6 right there.
Well, I put it on page 8.
Why? Would you put it on page 6?
I said page 8, so. Exactly, yeah.
Why did you? What's on page 6?
That's the irony. No, it's not.
Is page 6 empty? Yeah, that's why it's on page 6.
Oh, why did you say page 8?
No, like she's special.
Because I don't want to do work.
So, hi, Ben.
It was the irony.
No, it's. I know. I went back and forth between the two of them. It's the irony is the part I care about. The word that comes before it, I don't know. Yes, that's. I didn't realize it was that much of a struggle to get my joke. I really kind of thought that was going to be an easier joke to get. Nope, it's not a knee slapper. I thought you could do it back. Nope, it's a face slapper. Then turn to that page. I can now show. Or 6, which is the page I went to. Oh, I can tell by your daily title up there.
Drop it!
Add low. Yeah, today, twice. I'm sorry, are you trying to womansplain what it means to fall off a chair?
I'll show you.
Yes, I know what you mean. I had it happen twice today. What? No, I just laughed at him. Yeah, I caught that too. Again, old, not blind. Ouch! You chose to sit next to the miscreant. That's your choice. Oh, did you hear me say Eden, you lose points?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then problem solved.
No.
That's what I was thinking. Again, you guys are. So, here's what I'm going to do before I call on Tegan so we can move forward without many issues.
I give up.
Me too! Stop looking at my diary. So, up here, this is your 2 definitions of irony.
But it's on September 23rd.
And so, again, this is the day that's a continuation of yesterday. I know, so most of my dates are from yesterday when I made this. For irony, you have 2 choices, on pink sheet or in notebook. Because on pink sheet, there's a spot for irony. But I've had a lot of kids being all whiny and complaining that they filled their pink sheet up. So if you'd like to put it in the notebook instead, you may. There is a thing we're going to do in notebook that's not just the definition. But if you want to put the definition here, I'm okay with it. There is a harder definition and an easier definition. You can do both or do one. The harder definition is one that says, when words express something that is the opposite to their literal meaning. The slightly easier one is a difference between the expected and what actually happens. And if that doesn't make sense, that probably makes sense because it's kind of confusing, and that's why we're going to spend time explaining it. Hi, Emma.
Is this okay? We're the opposite of what you expect to happen after an
Beautiful. Like me looking in the mirror.
or the opposite.
Haters.
In the nicest way possible.
I don't think there's any way to insult somebody in the nicest way possible. You look like a monster threw up. I mean that the nicest way.
Wait, I'm good. Okay, I got it.
I will keep it up there for you. I'm just going to put up the next part for the groups that are already done with the definition. The difference between the expected result and what actually happens. You know, it's ironic when you expect your advanced class to be smart and then you show up to them. Snap! So here's what I'm going to have us do for our little activity. Then we're going to take our break. I figured that'll be far enough in, and I may need a break from some of you at that point. So what I'm going to have you do is we're going to fill in a little chart. This is the little charty thing you're going to be doing. These are your options you can get to use to fill in the chart. So what it's going to be is it's going to have a person, and we have a fire, by the way, the definition is still up there in case you need it. The person, you have a fireman, police officer, dentist, gymnast. You're going to tell me which of these things do you think the fireman is expected to do? What would be the opposite of that? For the police officer, for the dentist, for the gymnast. These are your 8 answers you have to choose between. It is stop fires, prevent cavities, flips and bounds, arrest bad guys, has bad teeth, trips over feet, catches on fire, breaks the law. Those are your 8 words to put into it. Sammy?
Do we write this down? Or like, you are gonna give us a name?
I'm gonna do
Where it says copy and fill in this chart,
I copied
My hands are too shaky.
then take them off. This is number 3. Okay, I was making sure our counting was the same. Okay,
Does this work for IME?
hang on. That's what you're using your 3rd one on.
Yeah. A difference between the expected results and what actually happens.
That was a good use of your 3rd one.
It doesn't work though?
It does. That was also an example of sarcasm. We're going to be using that in just a moment.
Mr. Brovian,
What-
you're
so
the
I
great
did
teacher.
what it
That's
does-
fine. You pretty much have the exact same thing I have.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was sarcasm.
Charlie?
You will use foreshadowing.
Look at you guys learning. I'm starting to think this might actually be an advanced class. No.
way.
Adlo?
Expect they do doesn't make any sense.
So, what is it we expect they do? What is it you expect a fireman does? Stops fires, prevents cavities, looks confused at their teacher, gives up in class.
They're like words.
Well, I know. What is it you expect they do? What is the
Have bad
You just don't like my phrasing? Then would you like to write a different phrase?
Yeah,
You can write your own phrase.
okay.
I'm fine with that. That is not the part that I really care about.
Why are you so crying and laughing at the same time?
Tears of joy. I'm so happy I'm here. Again, that's sarcasm. We're gonna- we're-
My pencil fell.
Wait,
No, my pencil did.
Have you ever seen a grown man cry?
I actually have.
Why you little?
My dad cried.
Hi, Tegan. I'm old, not blind. I see your hand. I was going through my emotional state. Hi, Tegan. What's
Okay,
up?
so basically, it says there's like 8 things. There's 8 down there. So, wait, you're not listening.
I am. That's why I'm starting to twitch.
There's 8 parts of the chart, and there's like that I can fill in. And there's 8 down there. So I put them all in there, right? Okay. So like I use every single one in there.
In the bellwork, in the bellwork side, on the bellwork page, with the bellwork stuff.
Yes.
Hi, Rudy.
My dad cried because
Because he watched the video of his class.
yeah,
Oh.
because I was helping out a boy with autism, and I was like his best friend.
That was nice. Aubrey, if you would like to fast forward until you, I'm sorry, I meant kid at home, whoever you may be, fast forward until you see things getting filled in here, you can. Just actually pause. I'm just going to pause this because we are not going to, this way, just don't worry about this. Just ignore my hand. And we're back. I thought that would be
Do you see how long I held it? How long did I hold it? That was a long time.
easier than me just watching the video one more time. All right, so for here, you can't even keep a straight face while asking. So, this is not a perfect example of irony, but it should hopefully get us closer along those lines. So let's see how we did. For a fireman, what is it we expect they should be able to?
Stop the fire.
The opposite of that would be,
Fire.
nice one. For, well, yes, he would too. For the police officer would be,
Arrest bad guys.
and then the opposite. For a dentist, and the opposite. For a gymnast, and the last one.
See, that's exactly what I wouldn't do.
So this is where it would have been ironic if the only person who got hurt during that break was the one kid who keeps claiming she's an elite cheerleader and would never get hurt, and then all of a sudden was to do a handstand, and then her arm just sort of bends, and then her feet fall over and hit a desk, and she's like, my ankle! And we're like, oh no, we now have irony! So as you go through, if a fireman trips over his feet, not ironic. Just like if a dentist breaks the law, not ironic. And so it's where you have to match up the opposite of what you would expect to the person over there. For good or bad, this is the last part you're writing down. The rest of class is me telling you stuff to try to help you learn. Sydney.
Actually, my dentist has awful teeth.
So all of these are possible. Like, there are police officers that break the law. There are elite cheerleaders who can trip and fall.
Why'd you point at me?
Because you said, I'm an elite cheerleader! So there you go. So that's why I pointed at you. And so all of these things can happen. It's just when they do, next time you visit your dentist, you can say, hey, you're ironic. And reach up and flick him in the tooth. And we'll just see how that goes. Probably. That's how teeth work. So as we go through, here's my examples for you. I have some stories I've picked up over the years that have happened to me and my family, and I just sort of jot them down when ironic things occur.
Wow.
First one. Oh wait, no, hide this one first. I forgot I have to teach you a thing first. This is not a thing you have to write down still though. So there are three types of irony we're going to look at: verbal irony, and then situational irony, and then visual irony. Verbal irony is when you say a thing, although it's the opposite of what you mean. Like if you go outside and it's raining and you say what nice weather we're having, you're sort of being ironic because it's not real nice weather. There is another form of verbal irony that I use in class quite a bit and demonstrated in this class earlier, where you say one thing but you mean the opposite of it, and you use it in more of an aggressive attacking mode. That would be sarcasm. Sarcasm only works if you're smart. It's why they keep saying teachers should not use sarcasm in the classroom. One, because supposedly it's mean, but that's if you care about kids. But two, sarcasm only works if they're smart. Because if Marla turns over and smacks Liam, and I'm like, Marla, what a good use of your points. And she goes, really? Sammy, smack. And I'm like, Marla, I'm proud of you. And she's like, Violet. I'm like, it only works if you understand the sarcasm is making fun of you. So sarcasm is, man, I'm soaked through my shirt. And he goes, way to wear a raincoat, genius. And of course, he's also not wearing a raincoat, so he's equally as genius. Rudy, this is number 2. He's already out of questions, so I get to ignore him. 3, same as him. Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I don't care after 4 o'clock. What a good use of your third question. And then, just kidding. Hi, Aubrey.
Was that sarcasm?
Why is he being
Oh, that's another question.
Why is he mean to her?
Because he's a hater. That's actually not rain coming down, that's haterade. And it's just sprinkling all over him, and he's getting covered in haterade.
Take away the points.
Okay, so have you guys ever seen those little China stickers? So that's where my story begins. This goes back to when my daughters were wee little people, and I took them to the, just yapping out loud just bypasses the whole getting, just making sure. When they were wee, I took them to the 4th of July parade that they have here in Fishers. And along the parade route, there were people like handing out things to the kids along the route. One of the things they were handing out to the kids, when my daughters got tired of holding it, they handed it to me. I looked on it, and there was one of these little Made in China stickers. And this was when I started writing down all of the irony I was seeing. Because what this sticker was on was ironic. I'm not telling you. This is where you have to figure out what was it that the sticker was on that would make it ironic. It would be a
American flag.
They had all of these little flags, and each one had a Made in China sticker wrapped around it. And I just looked at it, and I was like, seriously? I was like, that's a little on the ironic side. By the way, those stickers, they're not made in China.
They're made in Vietnam.
Yeah. So again, kind of ironic, the fact that you would expect they make the stickers in China, but apparently they make them in other countries and then ship them to China. Let's go with the guy who runs the company Chevrolet for cars. That would be ironic, but I was going more for the car he drives. What would you expect him to drive?
Chevrolet.
You would expect him to drive a Chevrolet. It'd be ironic if he drove Tesla, Ford, Honda, something like that. Just like with, the Microsoft, people who work there, what would you expect them to use?
A Microsoft computer.
So it'd be ironic if they used.
Apple computer.
There you go. So names can also be ironic. I used to use an example from Looney Tunes with Bugs Bunny, and he had this friend he would call Tiny, but whenever Tiny would walk in, he was this gigantic, huge guy, and they would all like, here's my friend Tiny. And you just see like all the characters look down, and all you see was a foot, and they'd look up and see this giant guy. I was like, name is ironic. They call him Tiny, but he's huge. But then I ended up having kids in class I used as my stories instead. Yeah, I wonder who that could be. Oh wait, that was sarcasm again.
Was it sarcasm? Oh, wait.
Uh-huh. So I had 2 students, one named Delight and one named Joy, who I now use as my examples instead. I had Delight first, about 15 years ago. Delight was our school bully. She sat by herself over there in Lonely Kid Island, over yonder, because the other kids were a little scared of her, because she was equal opportunity. She didn't care if you were a boy or a girl. She would be more than happy to get into a fight with you, and she could hold her own. So I'm getting to irony. I've learned that Delight is quite the delight. And as I'm talking about the names and the fact that the big person named Tiny, I'm looking around the room, and all of my students are side-eyeing. They're doing the little... I'm like, what are you guys all... And then I realize they're all looking at her without trying to make eye contact. So I just go, are you guys all looking at Delight? And they go, mm-hmm. I go, Delight, I think you're an example of irony. She went, why? And I'm like, well, your name means friendly. Are you friendly, Delight? And she went, nah. And I'm like, I think that's a good example. And the class giggled. And then she looked at him and they went, hey. And I'm like, Delight. So then a couple of years, I started using that story in class. The next year, I was like, who here knows Delight in the 8th grade? And the class all raised their hand. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, and they got iron. So I used her as an example. A few years go by, and I had a girl named Joy who sat right over there. Joy was not the school bully. Joy was my depressed kid because she wore all black with the black fingernails, and she just sort of sat back there and just stared at me the entire class. Well, I'm telling the story about delight, and I had a kid who sat right back over there, and as I'm explaining delight, he just stands up and goes, Mr. Broviak! And I went, what? He goes, I understand irony. And I went, okay. He goes, joy! And just points across the room at her. And I went, not wrong. And joy, for the first time the whole year, went, he gave me one smile. And I'm like, aw, joy. And I'm like, you never smile, and you finally did. It was great. So that was my 2 students I've had named Joy. Just like if your name was Violence, but you're peaceful and friendly and don't threaten to throw chairs at your...
That's what I was gonna say.
So we have this day called Labor Day. What does labor mean? Work. How do we celebrate Work Day? So there's your irony. We celebrate National Day of Work by sitting around eating hot dogs. We have some kids in this class who like to talk a lot. Shocker. There's a unit we have coming up in January and February that most kids seem to not like. But I would think my talky kids would like this unit. But they seem to be the ones that complain about it the most. Any idea what unit it would be ironic for them to complain about? There you go. Our speech unit we have coming up. And so that's our time where my kids who spend all of their points talking are then complaining about having to stand up and give speeches. Kind of ironic. Now, a story for you. Drive carefully sticker. Looks like this.
It's not a race. Drive safe.
Thanks, Aubrey. So I was leaving school one day, and I lived farther away this time, and I was coming home, and I pulled up behind a car at the stoplight, and the car in front of me, the back end of it looked like the Incredible Hulk had grabbed it and just gone smack, smack, and then pushed it down the road. It was as crunch as I've ever seen a vehicle driving down the road. And I'm sitting there just staring at it going, wow, how is that thing? I look at it, and on the bumper is the whole drive safe sticker, but it's smashed into it. And I'm like, that's ironic. So for my students, I decide to take a picture. And I'm like, this will be great. So I get out my phone and I balance it right there on my hand and I'm zooming in, but the light turns and the car takes off. And I go, oh, no, you don't. And I gun it after them with my phone on top of my hand. And I'm trying to do the one hand zoomy while driving at the exact same time. Okay.
It's just like this, you're starting to call.
Okay, and I'm zooming in as much as I can, and then all of a sudden I can't zoom in anymore because the car's gone too far, so I'm waiting for it to get closer, and then it gets closer, so it's getting closer really fast. So I look up, and we were at the next stoplight, and I realized I was not hitting the brake pedal. So I freaked out, and I went, ah! And I hit my brake pedal, and my phone went out of my hand and smashed against my window. Didn't break the window or the phone, and I didn't wet myself, which I thought I would, because my car went right up behind him, and I went, and then the light turned, and they drove away. And I realized it would have been doubly ironic if I'd actually ran into the back of them and then had to explain to the police officers that I hit a car trying to take a picture of it to teach irony, and then ran into it. Sydney?
Okay, I was like on a trip and I saw a sign that was like, no littering or else you pay a fine $30, and there was like a pile of litter right next to it.
It'd be even better if it had been like all of the tickets from people getting the tickets for littering, if they'd thrown them there. It would have been like even more ironic that would be ironic. Nicely done. Hi, Rudy.
It'd be more ironic if there was $1 to $30 in there.
Even. So, do you guys know what a phobia is?
Yeah,
Yes.
So, if we find out that hatophobia, find out that the guy who runs an airline, what would be an ironic phobia for him?
He's scared of heights.
Scared of airplanes. If we, what allergy would it be ironic for the president of JIP to have?
Peanut butter allergy.
Peanut butter allergy, same ideas. So going back to that whole name being ironic, we used to have a teacher here whose name was Mrs. Music, was her legit name. She moved over to Riverside. What would you expect her to teach? And she did not. She was a science teacher. But to make it even more so, she could not sing. And the only reason I know that is we used to have a talent show, and I tried to recruit her to join the teachers for the singing part of it, and she kept telling me, I can't sing. And I'm like, your name is Mrs. Music. Her response was, I married Mr. Music. And I'm like, well, he married a Grumpy Pants. But we also have a teacher here who is ironic. Mrs. Pancake. Because what would you expect her to teach? Facts. What does she teach? Choir and music. And not only that, if you talk to her, she doesn't like pancakes, she likes waffles. So it's like more levels of irony on top of all of that. So my next story for you, the little things that hang in cars that say that, like, I heart my kids. I mean, obviously you don't, me either. But this was actually at the Walmart in Noblesville. I was leaving the Walmart and I was not behind the car. I was pulling up sort of next to the car, and I could see they had one of the little I heart my kids things hanging in the back of the car. And my thought is, I'm a teacher. I also heart children because I spend most of my time with, I heart like 3 kids. But anyway, and so I'm like, hey, I'll pull up next and then give them like a whole little friendly I love kids wave too. And as I get up next to the car, I can see there's 2 kids in the back seat, like a boy and a girl, like elementary school age. But it's weird because the back windows rolled down about this far, like cracked, and both the little kids look like fish because they're putting their little mouths up to the window going. I'm like, okay, I've spent a lot of time around kids, but that's weird even for kids I've seen. So I keep creeping up, trying to look into the car, and as I get all the way up next to it, I can finally see the mom and dad, and they're smoking cigarettes. And there was just like smoke rolling into the back of it. So the 2 kids were up there trying to like breathe air so they didn't die. And I'm like, okay, that's ironic because it says I heart my kids and it should say I heart killing my kids. So I'm like, again, for my students, I'm going to get a picture. But I had to back up to get it because I pulled forward. So I start backing up and I get to the spot where I can line up my picture so I can get this in the picture and the kids. And I have it right there, and I'm zooming in to get it right, and right before I take the picture, I can tell there's movement behind one of the kids. I'm like, what? And I look up, and it was the dad in the driver's seat who had turned and was looking at me. And apparently it's creepy if you take pictures of other people's kids because he opened his door to get out. So I drove away really quickly while going, no. So I don't have the picture because right before I hit it, I saw Big Scary Man coming at me. But it would have been a good picture. So instead, I just have the story. And for the second time, I didn't wet myself. So I'm very proud of myself on that one. Don't you wish you had used the third one earlier? Is it about going to the bathroom? No, it's about leaving on class? Oh, then you're out of luck. All right, so there. So this one, I play basketball on the weekends and I run like a little league with people. And I had a friend of mine who asked if he could bring somebody. And I said, yeah, I have no problem. Bring a friend, ball on. So his friend Joe shows up. And I'd never met Joe before. And Joe had a tattoo on his arm that looked like this giant NBA thing. So my assumption is going to be, exactly. But I'm using him for this unit. So,
He's bad.
not just bad. He was one of the worst people I had ever seen play. He was trying to build a house with how many bricks he was throwing up. It was one of the things that he would like run down the court and then get close to it and then do the thing where you throw the ball and then just like walk away. And it wouldn't even go near the basket. It would just like go flying out. I'm like, I don't think you even know how to play. So the fact that he had the giant NBA tattoo covering part of his arm, I thought was a little on the ironic side. So this is what we call situational irony. And now we've done verbal irony. Now we have what's called visual irony. I'm going to show you a picture, and I'm going to see if you can figure out what I've covered up that makes it ironic. I have faith in you. There you go. So myself, I only drink water or Diet Mountain Dew. Those are the only 2 things I drink. And I got all excited when I saw this Mountain Dew machine because you don't find them often. And when I got closer, there was no Mountain Dew anywhere in there. And I was a little on the ragey side because I'm like, where's my Diet Mountain Dew? I don't drink Pepsi. So if you knew this one should be easy.
No Coca-Cola, Pepsi products.
Yeah, this was actually my wife's because she drinks Coke. I don't. But yeah, they had no Coca-Cola whatsoever. And again, same idea. All right. We'll go a little bit tougher. There you go. So to make it even worse, this is one of my friend's military patches.
Oh my God.
And so it's a military, that's why the flag is backwards and it's that little camouflage. And so, yeah, the fact that our military patch was made in China I thought was a little on the ironic side for that one.
Why would it be backwards?
I don't know. It's a military thing. I think it's supposed to, you know, the history behind it.
No, I think, wait.
Yeah.
So like when they like trying to sew on the patches, like they got it all wrong, and like their orders like came in and they were like all backwards, so they never can do it anymore because of their ancestors.
Works for me. I have no idea. So all I know is that, yeah, on military uniforms, they're always
Because
backwards.
they're dumb.
I'm not going to say that to their face, but okay.
Made in China.
Made in Africa.
Close.
Made in Vietnam. Mexico.
Now, having crayons made in Mexico, not ironic. What makes it ironic? Yeah, you can't call your company the American Crayon and then make it in Mexico.
What color would it be?
That's what makes it ironic.
What color would it be though?
Sorry, do you want me to hear you?
No.
Sound amazing.
Okay, I was just checking. So I'll show you the book he's reading in a moment. Do you have a guess as to what the book is going to be?
How do you eat a burger? Oh yeah.
You're close.
That's
Oh my God.
You know,
This one has nothing covered because I figure you kind of have to see it to figure it out.
And it had a choking hazard.
kids are
Oh,
free.
free.
Yeah.
So good.
So again, there you go. This was on our DC trip as we were walking around, and there was another group walking around, and I liked the kid's shirt, which said "Be different." And then
Everyone has to be
the
different shirt. Everyone has the same shirt.
Yeah, everyone has the same shirt.
and so yeah, having a shirt that says "Be different" is fine, but when you're walking around in a group of kids that all say "Be different" and you're all a bunch of white boys, it kind of went against the idea because I'm like, you are not being different at all.
Made in China.
Yeah, no tire on
He's tired. He's tired.
He doesn't have a
He
tire.
doesn't have tires on it.
They're drinking they're drinking a Red Bull.
So why would that be ironic?
Because they have a monster tattoo.
So yeah, the dude had not just a monster shirt, he had the tattoo, and then had the Red Bull sitting in front of
How
him.
did you know that?
You don't know what a monster tattoo is?
How did he know that it was Red Bull?
Because he didn't have a good guess. There's a chance he's smart. He just doesn't make good choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure that's the flexion.
Also, how do you know that he has a not in his shirt?
There's a tattoo.
Oh, there's a camera.
One, I'm proud that you guys can read cursive because I've had earlier classes who just stare at me. But yes, the fact that it says dance like no one is watching, and
They
then
said like.
and there-
It's so, parents who are new, like with new dancers, can watch their kids be kind of terrible.
I'm
Yeah, but
aware.
it's still
I mean,
like-
it's still it still doesn't make it not ironic. The fact that you say dance like no one is watching while you're going "Mer, mer, mer," the entire time.
The car crashed.
There's a car on the
There's a car bumping
There's
there.
a car.
There's a bike in there.
Even better,
There's a guy running.
it's a sign. Randy with a sign.
Make way for bikers. Yes.
Not bad. Give cyclists space, and they put it right in the bike lane.
I see that.
Fortnite.
And they have He's really angry. He's angry.
I mean, you're right. He has no teeth. I'm not sure which one to go
Who
with.
is that?
Well, he's sad because he has no teeth. That's
Who is that?
So this was a section of the bookstore where it has a sign that said, "Please ask for assistance for top shelf items." And then when I saw what they had on the top shelf,
Get taller.
so of all the places to put self-help, it's the one place where you have to get help to get to it. Again, I thought that would be on the ironic side.
It's sticky. Oh no, the sticker can't come off. The sticker can't come off.
The sticker can't come off.
Yeah, it would, from our Costco pay, the sticker would not come off.
Costco.
Wait, is that actually
Come on.
what is Costco?
So
Oh, see,
That's
that's
the
the
side
side of the building.
Names
Architecture
architecture
and
correct.
plant. Yeah, they lived
I'm assuming they did that on purpose
Yeah.
because there's room to have made for us. I think they were trying to be ironic when they made the sign.
Where is that? Where?
Hopefully.
Is that-
It's at the College of Architecture and Planning.
Good job, Mason.
College.
I know, but wait.
It's at
The
the
C's
College
at
of
the wall.
Architecture and Planning.
Whoa!
So this was a press release that came out about the movie called Noah, and you guys know the story of Noah from
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark, which is all about the flood.
Noah team.
The movie theater where they were premiering it, they had a storm so bad the theater flooded and they had to close the theater. So it was the fact that you have a movie about a flood that you have to close because it floods. I mean, it's from back in 2014, so you guys were kind of young.
I was like 3 or 2.
I hate vandalism.
He's the worst teacher ever.
Is it a picture of you?
Wait, are you talking about this or me? I wasn't really sure where you were aiming that one,
Oh, they
so
spelled it wrong.
correct. So
You are.
spelling it wrong, it does not make it ironic.
Makes the teacher stupid.
But he's all.
So the fact that you're saying it's the best teacher, but teachers are supposed to make you smart, and they didn't make the kids smart, that makes it ironic.
What if he's a math teacher?
Could be.
Well, then they're stupid in general.
Don't worry, there's more, because this is one I found on Facebook, and the comment about it also had irony. Because the comment says, it's a pet hate of mine to use your when you mean your. If your teacher doesn't notice that, then the clearly are the best, buddy. What's our issue there?
They don't know how to spell Grammarly.
They're attacking a person about grammar while they have issues with grammar. Sticking with that theme, from a protest about people coming here from other countries,
Mr. Roman, that's kind of like your thing at the start of the
you are correct. Now, just misspelling on a sign, not ironic. What is it they're protesting? So the fact that you're saying you can't come here if you don't speak English, and they know speaky English, that's our irony. Then to make it worse, as opposed to just having a sign they hand wrote, there was one they made it into a sticker. And I'm like, you committed to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
have the New York
I know. Well, obviously that means they're not very smart, so you can't blame them.
Yeah, that looks like a
And also, that's not even a month.
Oh, for this one, my wife is a 4th grade teacher, and so she gives spelling tests. And do you guys know what the word illiterate means?
Yeah, they can't spell that.
Can't spell words.
Fortnite.
So she teaches advanced, with the gifted kids, 4th grade. All of the kid got all the words wrong, except for the word that means you can't spell things. That was the only word the kid got right. So I was like, oh, I have to take a picture of that one. So,
Wait, but I could barely spell some of those words.
kids are special. Who thought that? Monarchy. It's like a type of monkey.
Succession.
Uh-huh.
He got success.
Oh.
He didn't success.
No success on that one.
And he's also irresponsible because
And he should be on medicine, and he should drink some chlorine.
he's my opposition.
Let's go for those of you who have pets.
My dog's not adopted.
Oh, by the way, this word is not deodorant. As I've had kids yelling at me, why do dogs need deodorant? And I'm like, I don't know why a dog needs deodorant either. That word says deterrent. But the fact that I've had more than one kid yell that at me today.
I can't see.
From McDonald's, they were giving out ways for you to go to college. They're giving out scholarships as opposed to a scholarship. So the word that means smart is the word they misspelled. I'm hoping you feel a little stronger with your irony. So now I can use irony. Ooh, speaking of, hang on, let's go all the way back to that first screen. What word is spelled wrong?
Right.
I I was even trying to help you with irony today.
Right? All right.
All right, I'm done.